back here with TC. Tyler, welcome. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I'm glad to be on the Drew Dumont show. I've watched this from the beginning, so it's kind of a full circle moment for me.
Okay, so let's start off with what got you interested in sports.
Well, actually, it's kind of a funny story. When I was younger, I really wasn't into sports. I don't remember watching any sports, but I watched this movie called The Benchwarmers. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Oh, yep.
And for whatever reason, that got me into playing. My cousins, Nathan and Ben, they would always play with me in the backyard as soon as I started this dream of wanting to play. And I really started my first year when I moved from Pennacook to Hopkinton. In fifth grade, I started playing in HISA.
So what was the move like from Pennacook to Hopkinton and your overall feeling of HISA?
I really just played soccer when I played at Pennacook, so HISA is a lot more organized, I would say, from this kind of sports that I went through, because I just remember we ran around and we didn't really try to play the game. As soon as I got to HISA, really that first year, I had no stepping, I had no mechanics, and I still hit kind of well, and we made it all the way to the championship, which was kind of cool. And shout out all the guys that I played with when I was younger, like Bronson. Really just, it was a fun experience.
Okay, so moving up to middle school, what was your vision when you were in middle school for like middle school baseball and beyond to high school?
Really, I only had 1 year of middle school baseball, but that year was really good. I had all my mechanics down. We made the playoffs. We went 5-5, which was kind of funny because we won all of our home games, if you remember.
I do remember.
I know you were on that team, but won all our home games, and then for whatever reason, we could not play on the road. And then we had that last game against Derryfield, that last game to clinch playoffs, or no, it was to clinch home field. And so we really wanted to win that, and I think it was like a 6-5 game. Thaddeus got hit in the eye.
I remember that.
At third, and so middle school was really fun. I think what we kind of lost going into high school was when our guys, I think the 7th graders that year, my class, had enough guys to field the team themselves. And there was like only you and Ben, and they moved Joe and Armin up to
JV that year, yep.
Yeah, so I really felt like that group was together, and that group could have done great things if stayed together.
I agree with that. It was unfortunate what happened the next year with COVID, because I would have been a freshman, you would have been in 8th grade, but as a result of that, we were together every season at Hopkinton. We never had a season apart, and that would have been the 1 year we would have been apart.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting. For COVID times, what did that look like for you?
So I still wanted to play. I was gearing up for probably one of my better seasons, mechanics-wise, and just keeping everything simple, like I said 1,000 times during your interviews. I feel like that year I still got to play. Me, Colby Boise, and Bronson Ammond all played Babe Ruth, and that's where I kind of started meeting other people from other schools and stuff. And that year we made playoffs, and we went to the quarter semis. I think we went to the semis, and we played a game at Rollins Park, and Infamous Rollins Park bounces. It bounced over someone's head, and we ended up losing the game because of that. But Babe Ruth was fun. It was great to be out there. We were wearing masks, and that kind of, on hot days when it's 95 and you have a mask, that was not fun. But still being able to get out there was great.
Okay, so transition on from that to your freshman year. I think we remember that season pretty well. That was maybe my favorite season playing. I enjoyed that season a lot. I was a sophomore that year when you were a freshman. Talk about that season.
So first, before I talk about that, I'm going to pick up a little golf that I played.
Yep.
I got into golf over that summer too, and that kind of messed up my baseball swing. But before that, freshman year golf was fun. Those guys are really fun. A great group of guys. I just remember going out there and watching Cody Dexter and Evan Farinini hit the ball, and I'm like, I can't even hit anything close to that. But golf was fun. I think I qualified for 2 matches at the varsity level. Didn't do great, but that was my freshman year, so I didn't really expect to do anything. I just kind of went out there and played with friends and had a lot of fun there. And then going into the baseball, that was probably the most fun season. We had Coach Merrill and Coach Valari. Coach Valari I ended up having for all 4 years, and he helped me a lot with my pitching. But Coach Merrill kind of like pulled me aside before the season and was like, I expect a lot from you, so go out there and, do your thing. And so I always liked that about Coach Merrill. He let me go out there, and if I wanted to steal, I stole. And then he always had me in the 3 spot hitting, and I felt like I did really good that season, good enough to get called up to varsity. After our season was done, I still remember my first varsity at bat, Monadnock in the semifinals. Kevin Putnam, I think I was facing, and it was a blowout game. Sad. That carried with me for the rest of the year, but I hit a ground ball off of him in my first at bat, and I got out, but I felt like, damn, I could have done something. But yeah, that year I just remember I came up to varsity and I had a lot of nerves, and I wasn't fully there. I didn't feel the ball well in practice, and I just remember a coach's quote: "If you're gonna keep missing the ball, you gotta go get it." So that really motivated me to do better sophomore year and throughout.
Okay, so after getting some experience up at varsity, what happened next?
So sophomore year, I made varsity to go to the trip in Connecticut to play against my uncle's school. Actually, that was pretty cool. And then I played against another school as well. But really, I felt prepared. To talk a little bit about that golf season, I didn't really do well in the golf, and that kind of was like, I kind of figured out after that season that I didn't want to pursue golf, not because of the guys, the team was great, but I knew it was getting in the way of me performing at the level that I wanted to perform at for baseball. So after that season, I decided not to play that anymore. But back to the baseball season, we had another good year. After that trip, I think I made an error or two when I was playing in Connecticut, and I only got like 1 at bat, I think, if I remember correctly. But I was cut. I was cut over text, told I was going to go to JV, and that hurt. But I knew if I ever got an opportunity again to play at the varsity level, that I wasn't going to let that slip. So I played as hard as I could. Remember the first 2 weeks of that JV season, I did not play well because I was still in my head. I should be on varsity, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm getting in my own way. I'm proving them right. So I was like, I can't let this slide. And I played that rest of the season. The last 6-7 games of the JV season, I don't remember how many there were, but I remember the second half of the season, I really teared it up, and I ended with another around 300 batting average.
I think we had around 16, but it got cut down probably like 2 or 3 games because a lot of schools couldn't field the JV team at that point. So maybe it was like 12 to 14 range or something.
I think it was like, there was like, 8 games left, and I was like, I need to make a change, and I made that change and performed at the level that I knew I could have. You and I actually got pulled up to varsity for the playoffs, and I remember I was doing a lot better in practice. I could tell that my work paid off, and I was not dropping the ball, making a run to try to maybe get a spot for the playoffs, but on the field. But I didn't end up doing that, and fortunately for my dad, because congrats to him, but he got married during the quarterfinal game against Monadnock, so I wasn't able to play in that game. But the boys tried their best and ran into that Monadnock wall.
I remember the first round, I think, was against Campbell, and then that was a pretty one-sided win.
Yeah.
Abram with a walk-off, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second round, it was the quarterfinal at Monadnock, and that was, played them close, but, it is the way that it is. And then we had to move on, so that was entering my senior year and your junior year, and we got to work over the off season.
Yes, that fall ball, that's the key. That's really the key. Playing either in the fall or the summer is the key for you having a great season, and obviously I'll get in that for the preparation for my senior year. But really, fall ball for us, I remember at first we didn't win a lot because of how the team was kind of like there's people from Plymouth, there's people from Concord, Vermont. There was a kid from Vermont.
there was a kid from Vermont. There was a couple kids from Stevens, kids
Bishop
from
Brady.
Manchester area.
And so it's a bunch of kids coming together. But the thing about fall ball and the thing about summer ball, it's all kids that want to play. Like sometimes you get kids on, your school teams that are kind of just there to be on the team, kind of there to, go through the motions and, be on the team. But when you play on those teams, the other teams, you accumulate players that want to be there. And so that wasn't really an issue skill-wise with us. We just ran into a couple good teams, but we made a run and we made it all the way to the championship. And really about that fall season, it gave me confidence on the mound. I played a lot of outfield for that team and then third base, my normal primary position. Fun fact, I've played every position but shortstop and center field in my career. I will always say that. So really wherever I needed to be, that's where I was. But that fall season, I got really close. We got close with two other guys.
Yep.
Shout out Andy, shout out Gabe. Gabe was the first catcher that I really had a connection with where he knew what I was going to throw before I threw it. Like I didn't ever shake him off. And I just remember one weekend, we were short on pitching, and I pitched the last 3 innings of the first game, and then I pitched the whole second game, and I did it with 78 pitches. And that kind of just shows the mentality that I have on the mound is I'm going to go out there and I'm going to try to finish the game. I love pitching, but I love pitching effectively. Like there's times, trust me, into that Legion season where I had a really bad outing and I ended up getting pulled after not even getting an out. But going out there on the mound, you got to be confident. You got to be, hey, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to do what I'm going to do to win the game. And I loved Coach O'Brien just letting us, or McDonald, whatever it was, and Coach J-Rob.
J-Rob throwing BP every morning at like 90 miles per hour. It felt like
God.
Those were the days.
The coach, we're getting gassed up. They're not going to face anything like this in the game. Come on, coach. But, yeah, those were great coaches. And, they let you work. Fall ball is about getting your work in, getting your reps in, and finding out who you are. And I figured out on the mound that I could be really effective.
Those were fun days.
Yes.
Some of them were long days. A lot of them were. Because
like 20-something to 2 one game. Like it was like
Yeah.
There's like a 3-inning limit, and I think we played 3 innings.
Well, I remember we would show up there at like 7:30 for an 8:00 game, and then we would sometimes go till like almost 1.
Yeah.
Or we would show up at 1 and we wouldn't get done till like 7:00 or later.
Yeah, fall ball is definitely interesting, and I played it in middle school as well, and I just remember like the games were either close, neck and neck doubleheaders every Sunday, or you get blown out.
Yep.
And you're sitting there like, okay, I just got blown out. What am I gonna do next? And so then to kind of go into that junior season for us, we're going through a transfer. I think the coach previous kind of just when he retired, that was it. He didn't kind of develop the guys to come up and be ready to play at the varsity level. So, and some of these kids haven't played together. We had sophomore year, we got to play with some of these guys that we ended up playing with the next year, but we really weren't a team yet. And so what ended up happening, we get fed the Demon Monadnock team first game of the season, and I just remember Cam Olivo pitched like 1 inning or 2 innings. He struck out all the guys. That was the first people we faced in our varsity careers. And I remember I got a hit. I think I went 1 for 2 that game, and I got my first varsity hit out of the way, and I'm like, thank God, it's coming. It finally came, and so we definitely got 10-run road that game. I don't remember a lot of the games, but it was a tough season. We kept losing, but we kind of still stay together. for the most part until Conan. Anyway.
Hey, but we won right after, so.
Yes. I just felt like at that season, I think the first 3 or 4 games, I was off at the bat. Like, I was hitting the way that I did this season. I was going off, and then midway through the season, I hit my slump. And that's where, because I was the 4-hole hitter, that's where we kind of stalled out even more. But I just felt like you felt it was brewing. Like, loss, and then we played Guilford, and that was a close game. We
Which
were actually
one?
up. The first one.
Okay, the first one. That was we were ready for that game. There's no doubt about it. I remember that first inning when it was like, all right, let's be ready to go, everybody. We were ready to play that day, and we put 4 runs on the board in the top of the first. Gosh, I wish we won that one.
Yeah, I was very frustrated. We were up once again 4-0, and next thing you know, they clawed. You can't let a team like Guilford claw, because once they start clawing into the game, they're going to be there. They're going to win. We had a couple of the games where we jumped on them. You know, that's the whole point of the game. I was telling my guys yesterday in the game that we got to score. We got to go. We got to score. We got to score first. If you score first, they're thinking about it already. You know, it brings a team down when you score in the first inning. And the other team yesterday scored first in the inning, and they didn't score again. But to kind of go more into that season, you know, we went to Raymond, and I think that's when we were playing our best ball. Like, we came off that Conan game, had that little altercation on the bus because of team cancer over here. But after that, we beat Raymond. And I believe someone to my right had a nice hit that eventually he came in to score on.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was good.
That was a full circle moment for you.
That was nice. That was a nice day. That was a nice win. We got ice cream with the softball team after. That was fun. And then I think prom was the next day or something.
Yeah, I think, yeah. So that was like a little high. So we got to have some fun. And yeah, and then going through that rest of the season. Did we play Guilford again after that? I feel like we did.
We played Guilford at home. I don't remember if it was before or if it was. I think it was after that game. I think it was
so too.
The next week.
Because we had the I don't think playoffs were in the picture there, but that game we 3-0. Cody pitched a great game. I just remember I had 2 balls I hit into the gap that got caught, and so it was our luck. Oh, we didn't talk about the dreaded Newport game to start the year. That was another.
We
tough
don't
one.
have to mention that. We don't have to talk about Newport. We don't have to talk about Newfound.
Yeah, those 2 games. I think they were football scores. I just remember we scored a lot.
What was it like? So we weren't going to talk about it.
We
were up 13-7 or 13-6 with an inning or 2 to go.
In the final inning, and then it somehow got tied up, and then we ended up going till I couldn't see anymore. I was behind the plate. Yeah, you're good. I remember I was behind the plate, and I couldn't even see the ball, and I look over at the umpire. I'm like, are you going to call this thing or what? Like, I can't see the ball. I know you can't see the ball, so you're calling it either a ball or strike just by judging how it comes out of the guy's hand. But yeah, and then we had to play them again after Monadnock.
We got out of there. It was like pitch black almost. The street lights were on. All the lights at the school were on. It was like full-on darkness when we got out of there. I'll never forget that. We were both so annoyed, but I'll still never forget that. That's one of the things I won't forget, just like I won't forget that opening day. I know we're going backwards here, but the season before, in 2022, on the road, when we were up and we ended up tying for a JV game.
Kearsarge.
Yes.
I got picked off that game. that wasn't good.
Those 2 really stand out to me as like, we should have had those wins, but I'll never forget those experiences. And not, I guess, as bad in the worst way now as it used to be. It was like, darn, we should have won those games then, but now it's like, we were having baseball, we were making memories, so yeah. I'm more okay with it now, but I still wish we had won.
Yeah. It's all about the memories, I feel like, with the games, like, not in any sport. I feel like you remember the funny things, like the middle school game where we got pulled over. We were going to a playoff game, and I just was in the back being, the great person I am, waving at a cop. And I didn't stop waving, so he thought we were in trouble, so he pulled us over. And Drew brought a bag of, it was like a little weed bag. But no. Keep it there. He took a little bag and he put a bunch of dirt from our field because we won at home all the time. He took a little bag and put it in. And so everyone started screaming, hide the bag, hide the bag. And so those are kind of the cool memories that come with the team.
All right, I stole that idea from Nathan Horton to try and give us home field advantage on the road for the playoffs. So I did bring the dirt from our home field, and Thaddeus nicely performed a pregame ceremony where he laid it down on the field. But that bus ride was something else, and then we had a new team rule: you're never allowed to wave at a cop again. And one of my friend's dads is a cop. So my friend's dad, he's a cop, and I remember driving home after that game, and I saw him pulled over at a gas station, but I wasn't allowed to wave because that was the new team rule we just established because Tyler got us in trouble like 3 hours earlier.
Yeah, big troublemaker right here, but that was definitely interesting. And then the kind of wrap up on that junior season. Great night for you. Senior night, you know exactly what I'm going to say.
Oh,
but
isn't that the guy who saved your career with a triple?
That's me. So we were on the fringe of, losing on senior night to a Mercy, and I was like, nope, that ain't going to happen. So was it a 2 RBI or?
I think it was a 2 RBI triple deep to left center fields. Right
center, because I hit the opposite field. That last season, I really took junior season, I took real advantage of going the other way because I couldn't pull the ball for whatever reason. But I hit a ball. Now looking back, I saw that they didn't even throw it to their cutoff man. So if we were paying attention, I might have been able to get a home run there. But
walking, I think you wouldn't.
I know I would have been out, but I would have tried for it if I saw that.
Yeah, that would have killed the momentum. But I remember walking into school one day, you had to let everybody know about it.
I mean, yeah, it's not that often that you get to get a real piece like that and go out there and hit a triple. Shout out to the lacrosse team. You all were there and made the game interesting. Very loud. One of the loudest games that we played in, I would say.
That was a fun game. That was the way to go out in comparison to going out the year prior against that Guilford team, which I'm glad I got another season.
Mm-hmm.
It
was great seeing your progression from middle school to then. I know you probably would want to be that all-state, home run hitter, but I feel like for what happened with your career starting in 8th grade, you did a good job of kind of improving every season, maybe not huge. That fall ball season was probably the best that you played.
Yeah, that fall ball season was fun. I'll never forget the memories of like after practice in Manchester going to that pizza place with you. And that was so fun. That was our weekly tradition after practice every week. And that pizza was good. Shout out Clemento's in Manchester.
Really good.
Yeah. Became friends with the owner, and then we would get like in trouble. You guys are having a large pepperoni again? You guys suck.
Got to be more diverse, apparently. But yeah, that guy was cool. I like when we still go and visit there. The one time we went to the airport diner with Gabe and Big Country.
Big Country, yes.
I got that jersey on my wall. Big hitter right there. Hall of Fame career.
The Big Country autographs at the end of the fall ball season.
Yeah, and he's now playing Sunset League, so.
Yeah?
Yeah, so he's still on a tear. But yeah, no, to kind of wrap up that junior season, that was a good game. You hit the ball hard that game.
I played super good in right field. I should have been like, if there was a all-state for fall ball, I should argue that I should make first team All State for fall ball because I caught everything out there in right field. I think the first week I missed a ball and I was like, that's not happening again. And I just got everything out there. And then you played some third, you pitched a bit, and you had some good pitching performances when you and Gabe really started to develop that connection.
Yeah. Really good chemistry. And then they kind of go back for that for a second. That championship game, it was like 2-1 when I came out of the game, and it ended up being like 5-1. But the 2 runs that they got off me were guys that ended up getting the third. Not just let them get there because I'm going to strike them out anyway. But we had 2 outs in both of those situations. Not 3-2 count, but there was 2-2 count and then some other count where I decided that I'm going to throw my infamous changeup, and it got by Gabe, and that's how their run scored. So it was kind of a tough game to end on, especially facing kids like Chase Philibot and Owen Thornton and those guys from Stark. And so it was like, you know those kids, and they're all great kids. I ended up playing with Stark the next season, but we'll get into that.
Yeah, so post Sweeney, that was another thing, so we'll talk about that. That was after your junior year, going into your senior year that summer, and then after that we could go through the fall ball your senior year.
So I knew I had to plan the summer, and knowing that I wasn't going to play golf, I was dedicated to kind of going out there and trying to find a college that I wanted to go play for. I toured, the first school I actually toured was Colby Sawyer. I toured St. A's. I toured, the first college that actually interacted with me was Salem State in Mass. Invited me to their camp that they had. That was actually that fall ball season that we played with Gabe and Andy. I remember I think I missed the game because of going to that. And so I went down, and it was cool to get my first lick of kind of college action. Coach Falcon over there, really great guy, respected guy in that division. We went out and we were playing. He had this thing where you would run. If you weren't running, you were fielding. It was a workout before the game even started, because what you do at the showcase, you do some warm-up skills, get warmed up, and then you play a game. And so I went out there, and I remember I threw like 9 consecutive strikes and topping out at probably 62 miles per hour. So I was like the slowest guy there.
Throwing gas.
And throwing it absolutely by kids, because they're coming here expecting, the guy throwing 80 or whatever. And I remember I went 2 for 3 that day. I had some shortstop that was committed there yelling at me because, when we do throw rounds after a strikeout, we go to second base and then they go to short, then we come back to third. I did that, and he's like, no, we go shortstop, second base, then he throws it back to you. And so he got on me. I didn't really get the atmosphere that I really wanted to go there, but it was cool to get my first college action. We had they stopped the whole thing. This kid from the Dominican showed up, and I think they flew him out that day, because we all were just standing there, and then they stopped practice. All the coaches and players went over to say hi to that kid, and then I think I struck him out, to be honest. I don't remember, but
yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm kidding. But I think he didn't have a great day, though. I think he went like 1 for 4 that game, which was kind of a hype up to not performing well. But that was a cool day. And then the next kind of thing I did for that recruitment stuff, I played for Sweeney Post number 2. Shout out my boys. That was fun. But it really was humbling, because I come here from Hopkinton. I started every game. I did well. I always played. I didn't play for first couple games. I didn't play, and then when I did come in, I came in for couple games only, and I remember my first ground ball on turf in the game setting. I missed it. There was a runner at second. He ran past me at this point. I grabbed it with my bare hand, threw it over to first. My arm, I didn't work out enough. I wasn't strong enough, to compete I was the youngest kid on the team, and I threw the ball, and it was so slow. The guy beat it, and the guy scored. And I just remember, I'm like, I know I'm better than this. And shout out Jacob Plamondon. He pulled me aside during one of the practices. He said, I can tell by your mechanics that you are a good player. It's just, you got to practice, practice, practice. So that motivated me. I ended up pitching a couple games, but really this season was about learning. I may have not played a lot, but I learned a lot and how I wanted to be treated going forward. So I pitched a couple more games, and then I had that infamous outing against Concord. I come in, I'm feeling it. I'm like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to prove these guys wrong about me. I'm ready to pitch, and then I'm gonna probably just pitch the rest of the season. First guy, 3-2 count, walk. Next guy, 4-pitch walk. Next guy, I get another 3-2 count, and I throw a fastball to the outside part of the plate. Walks again. And then here comes coach. And I'm like, I know what this means. And so I hand the ball off to him. I walk off, and I think I saw the field one more or two more times after that, and I didn't pitch. And so that was tough. I knew after that they weren't going to call my name when they needed someone, and that kind of felt. So the outing after that, I played Bedford, and I only let up 1 run in 2 innings pitched, and that really made it so I am confident. But going into that fall season with John Stark, I really hit the weight room. I sat out Jared Mostu, who I've been working with the last 4 years. Thank you for getting me to where I am with my physical stature, because I was very awkward before that and couldn't really move the way I wanted to be able to play at the level that I ended up playing at. And so that fall season was about getting my confidence back on the mound. I didn't really hit that well, but I did enough where I did enough where I had a decent average, but they didn't need me because they have so many great bats over there at John Stark. Played some outfield, had a lot of fun with that. I remember I got a ball, the guy was going to go home, but I absolutely chucked it into the cutoff man, so he didn't get it, but I felt stronger. I did an 8-month camp of just lifting 2 days with Jared and then 2 days by myself. So 4 days a week, grinding, eating right, and then on the days throwing. And then I faced my first injury of my career when Jed Jones from Londonderry hit me in the head, and I was out for a week and a half with a concussion. And then that's where I kind of had a chance to sit back and think. Don't remember much.
You want to talk about your speech in CRTC you were telling me about?
Oh my God. Okay, so first I'll tell you about the game. We were playing Londonderry. They were the D1 champs, so we were kind of like, oh, we want to beat them. So we start off the game. I think we won like 5-1, but I think. And so I come up to bat, and it's first pitch slider. I see it out of his hand, and it didn't slide. It hit me right in the head, and I don't remember walking to first base. That's the first thing. And so I'm at first base, and I remember getting the steal sign, and then I don't remember stealing. I remember I was safe because I got the second. I ended up scoring, but I just remember the rest of that game, I ended up getting a hit. I got a hit after that in my later at bat, but I just remember being in the outfield and being the idiot I am. I hit my head like I was going like this. I guess the concussion got me all amped up because I was louder than normal, and I'm pretty loud. Yeah, that was, and I so then the next day, I've been practicing for the speech in my class. Because I was running for vice president of the FBLA. I won, but I was giving my speech, and then I just forgot where I was, and so after that I gave the rest of my speech, and then I was like, "There's something wrong." So I went and got a scan, and they're like, "Yep, even mild concussion. And that was the funny part about it was after a week and a half, I felt kind of back to normal. And I remember I practiced. And it was funny because we're playing catch and I have a helmet on. That's what they told me I had to do. Like, I was begging the doctor because I felt fine. But it's your head. It's an injury that you need to kind of, sit back on. But I remember I'm like, if I practice, could I just wear a helmet or something? Like, I was thinking like a bicycle helmet. Like, nope, you got to wear your batting helmet and you have to practice. So I just remember I threw a bullpen. I felt kind of off when I did it, but I pushed back and I played that next week and I did really well on the mound. So it was really good. And then we made the playoffs. Memorial Field will always feel, when I go there next week to play our games, it always feels because this John Stark team had a really good chance of winning that fall league championship, 603 league championship. As we had some of the best pitchers in the state, Chase Philbot and Anthony Palicelli. Those guys were really good. We won our first playoff game. Actually, no, I think we had a bye, so I think we're automatically in the semis, I think. I forget how that works, but we played a close game at Memorial Field. I think we ended up losing, I don't think we scored, but it was 2-0. It was a really tough game, being the last game until this spring. But I got a hit in that game, I'm pretty sure. And it was a tough way to go out, but I love those guys. I was really rooting for them this spring. You got to cover one of their games and you get to see, shout out that whole team and the great organization that they got over there.
And then final season at Hopkinton, senior year. And that was interesting because that was your only season at Hopkinton where we weren't teammates.
Mm-hmm.
Up until going back to high school, really, when you started. So
to kind of go into that, I felt prepared. We had guys. I was itching to get in there. Thank you, Mr. Meserve, for dealing with me. I was like, hey, Mr. Meserve, is it possible for us to, we can't have practice, but is there some such thing as throwing club or something like that? Shout out to Jackson's mom, Miss Kovar, for coming in those mornings. We didn't have a lot of guys show up, but it was about the guys that did show up and show that as a program we wanted to rebound after last year. And so we were in there in January, throwing, getting our arms ready for the long season. I felt that made a difference. And so we actually started not a week before the season like we did the year before. We were in the gym, and I remember just one of the practice, we were it sounded like a basketball home game. We're all screaming. This team was different this year, and it was just, we had a lot of kids that wanted to work, and that is what drove us to be what we were. But I think we were better than the record that we showed, and it showed from the first game when we played that Monadnock team, and how bad we've struggled to beat that Monadnock team in the last 3 years. We made it a 7-6 game. I started red hot. I had a couple hits in that game. And I just remember thinking, I got an RBI hit. The second guy ended up getting, that would have made a 7-7 game. That second guy ended up getting gunned out at the plate. But I'm thinking, we're doing this. Monadnock ended up winning the state championship, just to point that out. But we were with them. We were right there with them. We were competing, and it was great. I was happy to see it, that all that work from junior year to this year paid off in the way that it did. Mm-hmm. And then to kind of move a couple more games. Newfound, we got punched in the face. We came in there expecting to win. After last year, we're like, we can beat these guys. And I still believe those guys, we could still beat them. But came in flat, can't come in flat, and they beat us. Guilford the next game, Gavin Clark, they saw the Monadnock game, they're pitching Gavin Clark. I got 2 hits off of him, another one that I brought in a couple RBIs and made it a 4-7 game late or I think it was 4-6, and then they scored one in the final inning. We came up and we didn't do anything, but that was another close game with a team that made the playoffs. You know, we had so many games. I remember Campbell's the one that really makes me upset because we put up, I think it was the bottom of the first, we put up 4, and I had a bases clearing double that made it a 4-1 game, a 4-0 game, and if we just play defense, we beat the team that was in the semifinals, you know. And so there was a couple more other games where it was close and we didn't end up pulling it out. Interlakes, I knew after Interlakes that we were in trouble because we beat Prospect Mountain. Bronson with a stellar pitching performance. I had an error late that almost cost us the game, but we got out of it. Tough play. We won that game. And then later in the season, just playing the teams that we did. Raymond, that was a surprise. No one thought that they were going to be as good as they were this season after how they were last. But, you know, I think they worked hard. You know, the teams that worked hard won the games, you know. And then to go back to Interlakes, that was a game where we hit the crap out of the ball. The thing about this team was we could hit. We could hit. Everyone in the lineup could hit. It was just about staying confident in hitting our pitch, you know, because we probably hit some pitches that we could have taken at bat and not hit ground balls, but everyone did their job for the most part. Everyone in the game, and I'm gonna shout out Czarkowski. He came up there with 3 at bats. You know, he didn't get a hit, but each at bat got better. And so then Interlakes happened. I knew after that game it was a tough game, and we moved on from that. And I forget who we played later, but focused back to Monadnock in the second game. That did not go our way. It was a bad game for me. I ended up getting benched. First time in my career that I got pulled off to sit on the bench in my varsity career. And I remember sitting there and was like, because we were up 1-0 in the first inning. I was like, I got to get back in gear. Like I was hitting well, but I needed to focus more on the defensive side. I also think I sat a couple of games. I don't know the reasoning, but I sat a couple games where if I was in there, I probably would have got more reps. And that's where I kind of was like, I need to really focus on the glove side of the game. And that side really hurt me this season. And that's what I'm going to be building on. That's what I built on last night when I played my game. And that's what I'm going to be building onto the college side of things. But so really with the battle season, I was there. We played Guilford again. Damn field. But we lost that one. I went 3 for 3 that day, and I felt like we gave an opportunity to win that game. We didn't. And I just felt like this season, this team was better. And we came out, we played our best baseball the last 5 games. There was a stretch where things weren't happening for us, you know, but we kept going, we kept grinding. Practice got intense. You know, guys wanted to win. And so going to the last 5 games, I spoke with Adam and Bronson, our 2 other captains, and we're just like, 5-game series. We win 3, we're in, you know. And it started with that Hillsborough game. I did not expect Hillsborough to go out to the lead that they did. But coming into that game, I had 2 hits that game. I'm pretty sure. I came into that game and I was like, you know, we need to win this. And we went down. And so we're like, okay, we need to bounce back. I felt like this team always would bounce back, but we needed to score first sometimes. But we went in there and you were there for it. Final inning, down by 4, was it? Or
yeah, I think it was
runs. We scored 4 runs. So
it was like 5-1 at one point. I think you scored 1 in the 6th, and then you scored 4 in the 7th to make it 6-5.
Yeah, and so they were up. I came up there, and I'm thinking, I'm gonna hit a bomb. Mm-hmm. You know, this is a learning moment. I went up there and I was like, I'm gonna hit a bomb. I'm gonna put this team up. I'm going to hit a double, hit a bomb, something big. And so I swung at a pitch I shouldn't have swung at. Ball, 2 balls. And then I fouled a couple off. And then I don't remember if it was 3-2 count or, yeah, it was 3-2 count. He threw me a pitch that I'm like, I'm going to hit it. I hit it right off my knee. That was painful, very painful. And so I went down, I got up, and I'm like, you know what? I got to play my game. I got to keep it simple. Luckily, because I was not ready to hit after that, he threw ball 4. And so I took my little jog to first, and I got my good old Dave Roberts impression as I stole second base. Devin ended up walking. Forget what, I think we had not a base hit, I think another walk. And then I ended up scoring. Devin ended up scoring, and Mikey P had a clutch hit to give us the win in that one. We played great defense. Shout out the freshmen. They really had a good season. Mikey D going out there and dominating the way he did on the mound. I saw him when he was in middle school in that semifinal game that he pitched basically the whole game. They ended up losing, but I saw him and I was like, that's going to be something special for the next year to have. And Devin played catcher that game and he got 2 QL out. We had catchers. Our problem the year before was we didn't, Tad and I tried, but we couldn't get it down the second. We couldn't get it down the third. And these kids really stepped up and they threw people out. And they showed Hopkinton had a reputation of people could run on them after Armin left. And we showed them that they can't run on us. And that really what stopped them and what really limited some innings, you know. But yeah, really wrap up the senior season. It was about getting better and improving and moving towards those goals, like I mentioned in my speech at awards night. We did that, and you know we're 1 or 2 games, 1 game away from being in the playoffs and taking that trip to Monadnock.
All right. Closing thoughts?
I'm happy for the opportunity that I have to go and try to play at Colby Sawyer. Thank you, my whole family. Thank you, my mom and dad. Thank you to my grandparents. Papa, you're the reason I'm here where I am today and being able to go where I'm going. I want to thank Jared Mostu again for all the weight training. I want to thank everyone head down to tail. My coaches, this guy right here, Gabe and Andy, big part of my career, and let's keep the Dumont show going. Let's get this guy to where he needs to be. He's worked so hard, and
you have too. You gotta tell everybody about your degree.
My degree in business?
Yeah.
Business administration. Oh, yeah, the academic weapon. I took college courses during my high school career. I'm going to get my MBA hopefully in 4.5 years or 3.5 years. It depends how many classes I get out of the way. But really my message to everyone is work hard. Do everything that you're going to do at 100%. Athletics, academics. If you think you're going to the MLB, work. You have to work. One of the coach that we had freshman and sophomore year, he said this: everyone thinks they're good in what they do. Everyone thinks they're good, but you need to see the results. You need to think, oh, I'm not doing good, because you know I'm ahead where I am in academics, but you need to know that and you need to push forward. You know, I'm very proud of what I've done. I'm very proud of what the people have done around me. You need to keep people around you that are going to motivate you to be better, not people that are going to be like, hey, stay in your bubble, you know.
And always have a positive outlook on every day. Every day is a great day for
baseball.
For us. For you, it could be fill in the blank with whatever. But,
yeah. Whatever it is. Just do what you love. Do everything to the best of your ability, and you're going to do things in life. That's just the main lesson. And I've learned that from baseball. I've learned that from grades. I've learned that from everything. If you put 100% in, you're going to do what you want to do. I said this year I wanted to bat 275. I batted 381. So I crushed that goal because I dedicated my life to it. I dedicated everything that I did to being better for my teammates, for my community. And then my final thing I'll kind of say, it's never about you. It's about the people around you. When I'm thinking about what I'm going to do in the future, it's about what I want to do for my kids in the future, what I want to do for my grandparents, the legacy that I want. You want your legacy. That's basically what it is. I want to live my legacy like my grandfather, because that's who I idol. That is who my hero is. And so find someone who your hero is, chase that, but see where it's going to go. You want to be your hero. At the end of the day, you want to be your hero, but you'll never reach that. So it's something to chase. You always want something to chase. And I know I'm quoting someone from a speech that I heard, but it's true. You got to be motivated.
All right.
Thank you, brother.